Hey, what's going on, guys? Gene Esther here with Artcorner.net, and I'm here at the Artcorner Gallery and Studio, and I got two amazing guests here, and I want to introduce them. First off, we have our guy Tim right here, and of course we got the well-known YouTuber extraordinaire, Perry Pencil, of course, and thank you both for being here, of course, and I want to kind of sit down with you guys, have a quick discussion.
Yes.
Of course, we have Tim here for the first time, and he has a great project that he's getting ready to present to us and show you guys what he's been up to as well. And of course, Perry and I have a few things to talk to you guys as well. So without further ado, let's introduce Tim and let's find out what he's been up to. Here you go, Tim.
Thank you, sir. All right, I'm Tim Swanson. I'm on Instagram, Art of Tim76. I have a comic that's coming out, which is called Son of Gods. And the comic is based off of a young lady named Uriel, who pretty much gets power from a god and basically receives this power and pretty much helps save the world. And it's like angels and demons. It's basically a battle between angels and demons on Earth and also throughout the whole galaxy. So with this comic book, it's not to a point where it's in one area. I wanted to pretty much be broad all over the place. You know, like a Star Wars, how Star Wars is so much to it. I want my stories to pretty much be to where I can make another planet just like that. I can make another story there. I don't want it to be to a point where it is stagnant in a way. But yeah, I'm really happy about this project. When it came to me, it was like, okay, I love Angel. I love the mythical creatures that are linked with them, their powers. They all have like different stories with them too. If you ever look up, most of the angels, especially if you Google them, they'll give you a list of angels from Michael on down. It's just amazing. Like I can go on for days. But we'll save that for the next one when I have more material to actually present. But once again, I'm excited about this project. You guys paved that way. You guys motivated me. I'm just excited. I would like to get on Indie Planet.
Okay.
That is what I'm looking forward to. And then any other, I think, was it Cosmology? Cosmicology? Yeah, that's one I want to get on. So once again, I'm new to the game. My pencil has been down for years, and these guys motivate me, and I just got back into it, and I am humble, but I'm also hungry. You know what I'm saying? So those are two H's that I'm carrying from here on out.
Awesome stuff.
And I just want to make you guys proud of me. And I want to make you guys out there excited about every issue that I do drop. Okay? Awesome.
Man, appreciate that. Definitely thank you for being here as well. But of course, we have Perry Pencil here. But Perry, I just want to ask you, how do you know this man right here, man? Let's hear the story. Let's hear the background of this guy.
Well, it goes all the way back to high school. Tim and I, we met in the Creative and Performing Arts High School. We were both freshmen. And I remember, we had the same art classes. We had our teacher by the name of Philip Corey. Philip Corey was the oil painter, fine arts oil painter. We had Phil Sumter, who is a legend, one of the best artists out there, who also used to be an animator. Okay, he's an all-around artist. He's actually ambidextrous. He can do two perfect circles with both hands, things like that. We also have Jacqueline Cunin, and we have Mr. Cohen. So Tim Swanson and I we go all the way back to, I believe, 1981, from the 90s on. So we started again as freshmen. We had the same art classes together. And I think what happened with Tim and I, we developed a relationship by basically catching the same bus home. Kind of one day, he was off of Cheltenham Avenue from like near the Martin Luther King side. And one day we were walking, and I said, hey, man, he's like, come hang out. We went to Tim's parents' basement, and I noticed that Tim had kind of like a keyboard like this back in the day. It was more like a typewriter thing.
Old school,
Yeah, and most people know my long-term memory is impeccable. Short-term memory, suspect. So the thing is that I remember Tim was writing back then. I wasn't writing back then. I was just drawing. And I honestly was doing like what they do now called dummy script, where you take a dummy script and you kind of redraw it or reimagine your own way. Tim was creating his own stories back then. The thing is that Tim's comic books were very impressive. Now, what I do want to mention, Tim and I did have a challenge. I don't know if you remember this, but what happened was I had a comic book called...
Once again, I have short-term and long-term.
I don't remember this.
So he's relearning this right now as we speak it. So we're giving this backstory to you now. But humbly, what it is that Tim was ahead of his time. And I remember, again, the guys put me and Tim against each other. They said, we want, Perry to challenge Tim in doing a comic book script. And I did the Sensational Spark. And Tim came up with kind of like a Shinobi story. And I remember it because now what happened was when we got it finished, we had to have it done in a week, mind you. We had to have this comic book done in a week with the stapler. Do you remember when you stapled the edges back in the day?
Crazy.
Right, yeah. And so we both presented our comic books to our freshman class, and they both read both of our comic books. They liked both of ours equally, and Tim was the winner. Tim won, and I remember why he won, because his story was not only cohesive and made sense, his characters had drive, and they had missions. With mine, they said mine was more like generic, as if they could tell it was from a dummy script. So it was more like something like if it was a Batman or Superman plot, and they can kind of tell that I kind of implemented my characters into the story. So Tim had originality, and that's how he won. Now, after that, we became kind of like art buddies. Like, so everything that we would do in high school, we would come to Tim's house, and we would collaborate, and I would put my characters into his comic book, and we would draw right onto the paper inside of that. So that's the history and the making of Tim Swanson and our history there.
Solid.
Wow, solid. Hey, you heard it here first, guys. That's what it's all about. All right, so I got another question for Tim, of course. So we all know that he's, working on his comic. It's out being printed, right?
Yeah,
It's out,
yes.
All right, Kablam, right? I'm pretty sure.
Kablam.
Yeah,
Kablam.
Kablam, great. One good thing about a company like Kablam, it's the go-to for independent comic book creators.
You guys put me on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and and throughout the whole process, you came here, and when you decided to work on your comic, while you were here, you were just kind of inspired, and we really appreciate that. And you just went for the gold. Like going for your own comic book is a hard task, but you definitely went for it. And so, how long did it take you to kind of work on and complete your comic book? And what was your drive behind that?
Okay, just seeing the story come to life, and like I said to you guys before, when I was drawing it was like I was all over the place. I was on page 7 or page 1 or 2, and then if I got stuck or had that block, I said, let's focus on the cover. Let's focus on the cover. You know what I'm saying? Or let's go focus on the intro, or let's go make a bio on the character. Yeah. So every day, like I didn't step away from it. My way of stepping away from it was like, okay, if I don't feel like doing page 1 or 2 or 3 today, let's draw something else that's related to my comic book, and I'll use it as like a stamp or a stencil later on. Yeah. So it definitely was fluid. I swear to God. I mentioned that before to you guys that I would wake up late, early in the morning or whatever, or even take a nap and then come up with some idea like, hey, this is it. I like this idea, and I just go right at it. And I'll sketch it out. But I never had a script. I would just have sketches all over the place, and it's kind of like you throw it out on the table and you pick which one fits for you. You know what I'm saying? So if most people have that storyboard, my storyboard was just like which one did I feel? You know what I'm saying? And then let's make it all come together. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, you got it?
Yeah. All right. So. That's very interesting. So, and I have a question for Perry. As far as your comic book, during that development, were there any parts where you just had some hard times or difficulties, moving forward, finding your way, or throughout the scripting process? What was some of the challenges that you faced?
The main challenge was, coming up with a cohesive story. And again, I remember having an idea. As Tim mentioned, the thing is that you have an essential idea surrounding everything. But when I tried to write it chronologically, it just fell apart. It, just didn't. I started with page 1, stopped on page 1. So what I ended up doing was researching and finding out like the creator of Archie comic books. And the way Archie did the comic books they did was called a plot to script. And what it is that you, similar to what Tim mentioned, you kind of draw the story, and you essentially let the character speak to you. So what I ended up doing is what I call translating what they're trying to say to me, write it out based on how the panels are going, and kind of going from there, as opposed to writing the script out first and then kind of reading the script and then going and drawing, which is the actual traditional way. Right. So I found difficulties in, like, let's say drawing from panel to panel and then getting to this one and not knowing where to go next. But when you kind of draw and let the flowetry of it kind of go through, you could say, okay, this is what this person's saying, leading you through the panels to the last panel, and then you do the next page and you kind of plot that out too. and then you say, okay, what is he or she saying here? So that's kind of the things that got me past the pitfalls of not knowing how to go A through Z.
Very cool, very cool. Now I appreciate that. That's all great information right there. So, and as for me too, I think when I was in my own development of Metasabian, I had the same process when it came to the first issue, where I didn't have everything kind of locked down. I didn't really have a script, like, you know, there's almost like you. It's all new. It's a totally new thing. No one really tells you like, hey, this is what you got to do first. But you know, you just kind of wing it, go with it. That's why I say, you know, when you're working on something for the first time, you're gonna make all your mistakes there, you know. And that's some of the things that I had happen to me too. You know, I was really ambitious with the first issue. I did, you know, multiple different mediums. I tried to do. I did digital coloring, but then I also did some traditional coloring with pastel and stuff like that. So it was a little bit of a challenge when it came to printing. So and I learned about that. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. So everything else was done digitally more. So you know, I kept more of the fine art stuff, you know, out of the second issue and stuff like that. So you know, little things like that you have to kind of go through to learn and be like, all right, what works best? What's, you know, especially if you want to stand out with your style. So definitely. So Tim, going back to you, man, I definitely noticed that, like, your style is definitely unique in its ways. As far as like inspiration, the key inspirational artists or figures that helped you develop your style.
Okay. It would be Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, and Frank Miller, and I can probably put in Mark Silvestri. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Cyberforce.
Yes.
Image.
Yeah, Image. A lot of Image artists I like. I fell in love with.
I was.
You know,
that era was good.
And it was really good because they were like just, you know, creating their own new platform. You know, where you're battling against, you know, right. That's the line. Marvel and DC. You know, and they were putting it down. They were.
Putting it down.
So. With those styles, I love Frank Miller because his contrast. It's just amazing. It's dark. You know, it's straight to the point. It hits you. It doesn't have to be color. So when you think about it, when you can just make a black and white just come out at you, and you can feel it, the energy in it, that's amazing. Then you think you think to yourself, man, imagine if we color that.
Right.
Or if I color, will I take away from it?
That's
you know, so that's what I like about Frank Miller. But when it came to Todd McFarlane, he wasn't afraid to, like, you know, offend you with different looks and design. Like,
never afraid of.
He took it upon himself to change the facial, you know, expression of Spider-Man. He took his eye, and now it's like what we look for.
Covers the whole face.
Right. But we got the retro Spider-Man, but he made it to his own. He evolved. You know. And then it comes to Jim Lee, where he was just. He's calm and collected. He's just, it just flows with him. He's just amazing with his details. He doesn't even draw. Sometimes when he draws something, he doesn't even sketch it out or put circles here or add lines. He just goes right at it. He'll just make something up just like that. Like, he just, you know what, I feel like drawing this with some raindrops and storm, or I'll draw Batman with a different perspective. He'll draw a helmet, you know, of Batman with Batman reaching for his helmet. That's something that you be like, man,
that's amazing.
You know, how do you just come up with that? You know what I'm saying? Those artists, to me, man, really inspired me. And sometimes I wouldn't even read the comic book. I would just look and see where they were going with it. You know, from page to page, and things like that. And that made me want to continue to draw.
Fantastic. Wow. No, I agree with you, definitely. What about you, Perry? Any artists that you might want to point out that just definitely inspired you in your own creative pursuits?
Absolutely, Gene. I have three. I'll start out with Frank Crowley. Frank Crowley did All-Star Superman, and one of the things that stuck out with me is that he's a line artist, a line drawing artist, as opposed to Jim. I kind of stayed away from hatching, and just to be honest with you, I wasn't really a hatch artist. Cross hatching, you have to be very dangerous. It looked like somebody's wearing a gate. Okay, if you don't do it right, or look like somebody got claw marked by Wolverine and slashed you. So Frank Crowley is very clean. Another artist coming to mind is Jeff Daryl. Jeff Daryl, did the storyboard for Matrix. He's very, very detail oriented, and I like his fabric, like the flexion folds.
It's loose.
And it looks really natural. Third person is Joe Madurai. Joe Mad has that great blend between American and manga art. So for me, what I took or inspiration from Joe is the expression of teeth and gums, things like that.
Yeah.
The tongue and the expressions on certain things that other artists didn't really care about at one point.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 go-tos of inspiration for my style I even do today.
Understood.
100%. Yeah, there we go. Joe Mad for me as well, because when I was working on the first and second issue of Metasabian, I found myself going right back to either the Ultimates or Joe Madurai, and some of his panels definitely inspired me at least in the first and second issue of Metasabian. So Joe Mad definitely had that, like you said, that American and anime that blend that worked really well, and he definitely
some
had very
people can't pull off. Some people
not too
can't
many
pull
people.
that off.
It's a hard thing to pull off.
Yeah.
Because they could either take
go
it
one way. Yeah.
So definitely, I definitely see your point on that. Definitely. He did it well. He definitely did it well.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, all right. So, we've got another question for Tim.
Oh,
all right?
God.
Just want to make sure that
my first time. So.
Yeah, first time, but we want to make sure we guys get your fill.
Yeah.
Get your fill. Make sure that. So you came through the studio and you were working on. You got inspired to work on your comic, and you pretty much went nonstop. You just went every week or so. You would come back and you would give us like more samples, more things to look at, and things like that. So as far as your development process, which was the most challenging as far as was it the coloring, was it the story, or was it anything else in between that just kind of made you work a little bit? What was the toughest part?
Okay. First thing I can say is that picking up the pencil again, it was to the point where, like you said, Perry, like you're trying to be perfectionist and all that. So, and also I was hungry. I was trying to get them out. You know how I am, because I'm always like, I'm trying to present the comic book in one day if I could. But by doing that, I come to realize that certain characters, I'm already happy with them. I put them in there because I was trying to get that page done. But then I realized, with one character, Xeon, he doesn't need a tail. Right. He doesn't need wings. It kind of takes from him. It's hard to be fixated on him because you see all this stuff going on. I figured if I made him just simple and focus on something more dominant, like his facial expressions, that would stand out more. And then another thing would be where, like I said, if I'll rush a page and then I'll look at it like, oh, that's terrible. This story, how did she pick that up? Where does sword come from? Or why is she wearing a cape when the last time she didn't have a cape on? I noticed that. Right. You're like, oh my God. So,
gotta make sense.
Right. And so drawing another page, looking at that page, it was kind of like another sketch. Like it really was like a 2-hour sketch. But that sketch let me realize, okay, I can make this better. And you might have seen certain perspectives from some of my designs, like where you see one was more bland, like one was bland and the other one was like, oh wow, you see how this comes out, more dynamic. Right. And that was several pages. But once again, it was because I just picked up the pencil. Like I said, I used to doodle, but I really started to get into it. So I was trying to be, once again, humble, also critical, but it came to a point where I was like, okay, let's take this page and use it as, a sketch, something to work off of, to build off of, and that made me make the next page or version of that page a lot better. So that was my challenge. It was one of the challenges where I had to step back and say, okay, you're going too fast. Let's take this time and make it right.
Yeah. This just makes sense. I know what you mean about that.
And the second comic now that I'm working on, I'm basically taking my time. I'm basically, I'm still all over the place. I'm not gonna lie to you, because that's just my style, right? Process. But I know it's gonna come together. And right. And if I want to add, I can add. So I feel confident. Really moving forward. Yeah. Thank you.
Tidbits, great information, great tidbits of information. Write this stuff down, folks. So, is there anything else that we need to say? Tim, what do you got?
Oh, well, just research. Research is something that you guys need to do. If you start a character, if you're, let's just say something simple. Let's say you make your own version of Aquaman. Doesn't have to be Aquaman, but you want to do something similar to Aquaman, right? Well, you got to do research, because Aquaman has a background with Atlantis, you know what I'm saying? And that artist had to go back and make sure all the characters, and it doesn't have to be to like precise to a storyline that is mythical or something that somebody else written, but to a point where you can go back and say, okay, I understand where he got that from. So research makes your character, and it also inspires people to look into your character. If you make your character to where he is, there you go, there you go. It gotta have something. Substance is the word I'm trying to use. Yeah. So that's for me. Research from you and from Amanda. It just helps me. You know, it helped me and it motivated. Yes.
Research, development, it all helps. It all helps definitely. Anything from you, Perry?
Gene, the thing that stuck out to me when I was working on Purge is that I had to go into the world of Purge. So I became Purge. Just like you have the movie The Matrix, you have the movie The Matrix. You go into the code of what you're writing.
Right.
So I had to travel into the world of Purge. I actually Purge is based on me. So in the script for Purge, I wanted to deal with the challenge of philosophy versus theology, right?
Okay.
So
break it down.
Yeah. So the meat of it for me was how does my character, who I'm portraying within the comic book, fit in that world? In this world, I have a lot of abilities that I'm now expressing at the age I am, right? But at one point was afraid to. So you see, the character has all of these otherworldly or godly abilities, but within his humanity, he's afraid. Because what happened is he exalted and put the religious aspect higher. So I'm gonna do PG-13 on here. You know, some people religious. But the whole point is that when you're dealing with theology, they exalt the theology aspect and they demote themselves as the philosophical version of themselves. They become less. The spiritual becomes more. So I wanted to deal with that challenge, Gene, and basically say the character is able to do godly things, but what ends up happening is that he doesn't believe in himself. So what do you do with that dynamic? And in Purge, I take one of those challenges. So when I'm telling people that are dealing with development, you have to become an actor. So I acted as the character. I lived that as the character, and I became it, and then it became a matrix in of itself.
Wow. That's deep, man. That's fire. Huh?
Yes. We're dropping knowledge, folks. We're dropping knowledge right here. Definitely. So, listen. Yeah. You know what? We can talk about this all day now. The video's a little long, but before we go, all right, Tim, is there any special social media? Any handles where people can see your art and check your stuff out?
Well, sure. Once again, Instagram, artoftim76. I'm working on my website right now, but I'm trying to get a very strong fan base before that, and also want to see how we can all collab together so I can pretty much expand with all my friends, all my artists out there, and we can all become one, because at the end of the day, we're going to have to eat, and we're all going to have to work together. So, as a team, you can't go wrong there. One man can't do it all by himself. So basically, once again, Instagram, Art of Tim76, Art of Tim. And pretty soon I'll probably have TikTok too. We'll get it all in there. But that's where you'll find me. And YouTube. Yes, YouTube.
Definitely. Definitely. All right. Yep. Sure. All right. Of course, we all know Perry's got a YouTube channel. So where else can we see your work, Perry?
Well, actually, right now, I do have Instagram. I try to keep it specifically to YouTube right now, because that, like, to me, is the greatest outlet, because it has most eyes on it. I mean, some Facebook posts I put up, but primarily I deal with YouTube, and I do have DeviantArt stuff too. So if you go to DeviantArt and put in, if you actually put in Perry McCants, DeviantArt in Google, you'll see some of my portfolio work there as well.
Awesome. Oh man, there you go, guys. There you go. All right. Of course, for myself, check out artcorner.net if you want the Metasabian project stuff. Check out metasabian.com. So it's all there. But of course, artcorner.net has like all my stuff, the fine arts, all that client work, art classes, all the good stuff. And of course, definitely be on the lookout for future videos that we're going to be doing. Of course, animation series shorts that we're working on. Tim and I, we're doing some stuff. So be on the lookout. Yeah, we got a lot of things down the line. Merch, T-shirts, you name it. We got everything getting ready to set up for you guys. So definitely, stay on that journey with us. And of course, more from us. We'll see you in the next video, guys.
All right.
Peace.